whether these two tests are interlinked or they are different, or do I need to take IELTS if I have already taken SAT? SAT is not at all mandatory. It is not compulsory to take the test. It actually varies from universities to universities, colleges to colleges. So ensure to check the eligibility criteria before you take the test.
Whether you have given your SAT or not, but the IELTS is absolutely mandatory test to take.
Is actually the test which focus on your academic preparedness for your higher studies.
Only focus on your English abilities whenever you are planning to go abroad, either for work or for the PR or maybe for higher education abroad. Hello everyone, welcome back to PW IELTS Prep. My name is Divya.
I am Ritika.
So today we both are here to address all your queries related to the SAT examination as well as with the IELTS.
Yes, so today we are going to discuss whether these two tests are interlinked or they are different, or do I need to take IELTS if I have already taken SAT? So let's get started.
So before starting anything, let us discuss the purpose, ma'am. So ma'am, can you tell me the purpose of the SAT examination?
So dear students, SAT is your scholastic assessment test. It is taken by high school students primarily for the United States. However, this test is accepted in other countries such as the UK, Canada, Australia, and even in India. Something which is very important to know is SAT is not at all mandatory. It is not compulsory to take the test. It actually varies from universities to universities, colleges to colleges. So ensure to check the eligibility criteria before you take the test.
Well, if I talk about the IELTS, known as International English Language Testing System, is a language proficiency test, and this examination is mainly for the immigration and for higher studies abroad. And of course, whether you have given your SAT or not, but the IELTS is absolutely mandatory test to take. So, ma'am, if I talk about the question types and the difficulty levels here.
Yes, they are also different for SAT and IELTS, ma'am. For SAT, if I talk about, it is multiple choice questions divided into 3 sections, and these are maths, reading and writing, and it takes around 3 hours to complete the test. And you know, SAT is actually the test which focus on your academic preparedness for your higher studies.
Okay, so if I talk about the timing, so IELTS is somewhere is also 2 hours 44 minutes. Well, this examination is going to test the abilities, that how well the candidate is speaking in English, writing in English, reading in English, and of course listening in English. So this entire test will take somewhere 2 hours 44 minutes, and as I've mentioned that this only focus on your English abilities whenever you are planning to go abroad, either for work or for the PR or maybe for higher education abroad.
Yes, so there is a lot of difference in both the tests.
Of course.
Okay, so now let's talk about the content.
Yes.
So let's begin with SAT first. So talking about SAT, as I have already mentioned, 3 sections: your reading, writing language, and maths. Where if I talk about your reading and writing, guys, these 2 sections will focus on your comprehension and analysis of your written passages. However, math section will assess your mathematical skills, problem solving abilities, also critical thinking will be assessed here. How about IELTS, ma'am?
Well, Ritika, if I talk about the IELTS, so we are lucky here because the IELTS pattern is not that complicated, though there are 4 sections, but all these 4 sections are going to evaluate your English language skills only. So if you are listening, so you will be asked, okay, you have to listen to the audios, and thereafter you have to answer some of the questions. You have to listen and write the answer at the same time. Reading, you will have the passages and the question. You have to read the passage and take out the answer. Whereas, the speaking is going to be a bit challenging because here the student is asked to go to the center. Of course, both the tests you have to go to the center and give your exam. But in IELTS, speaking is always going to be a face-to-face interaction. So kind of interview here you have to give when you are preparing for IELTS speaking.
Now let's move further and talk about scoring. Do you think it is also different?
Yes, it is absolutely different, and one of the very important part to know.
Okay, so let's talk about SAT first. So ma'am, a SAT is scored on a scale of 400 to 1600, and how it is divided: 200 to 800 points for evidence-based reading and writing section, and similarly 200 to 800 for math section. And talking about the optional essay section that we have in SAT, here you will be assessed on a scale of 6 to 24. So do we have the same sort of scaling system in IELTS?
No, not at all. See, the IELTS has a 9-band scoring system.
Oh.
So here your each module, as I've already mentioned, your reading, writing, speaking, listening will be evaluated on the band scale of 1 to 9. If you are not a user of a speaker, English is speaking, so of course a 1 scale or a 1 band to you. But if you are extremely good or absolutely a good speaker, so you'll be getting band 9. So here the test takers are given an overall band scores, right? And which is the average of all 4 sections here.
Okay.
This
so
is how it goes.
Next, what we have, ma'am, we have the exam
Format.
Okay, so let's move further and talk about the format. Okay, ma'am. So talking about the format here, your SAT test is paper-based test. However, there is an optional essay section which is administered digitally. You can take that essay section digitally here. And how about IELTS?
Well, ma'am, IELTS, here you will have a lot of variety. Let me tell you, well, IELTS you can give computer based also, and you can have a pen and paper test. When I talk about the difference between these, so the pen and paper test is absolutely the same way, where you have given your boards, you have the question paper, the answer sheet, and here you will be asked to write down the answer with a pencil. Whereas the computer based will ask you to sit in front of the desktop or a laptop, and then you have to give your entire test then and there only. Again, speaking is exceptional in both the cases, no matter computer based or the pen and paper. You have to go to the center and you have to have a face to face interaction. Not only this, the IELTS is also available in 2 different categories. We have IELTS academic, we have IELTS general. So we are, somewhere separating the candidates. So those who are looking for higher education, they have to give the IELTS, or they have to take the IELTS academic test, and those who are looking for the work experiences and the permanent residency, they have to go for the IELTS general test, ma'am.
Okay. And ma'am, $1,000,000 question. How about the difficulty level of the test? So let's look into it. Considering IELTS and SAT, ma'am, I believe like it varies again,
Definitely.
student to student, that how they have prepared for the test. But the content that we discussed, the question type and the scoring pattern, generally it can be said that SAT is definitely a challenging test, because it not only requires your language skills, but also students, you will be assessed on critical thinking, problem solving, and the time management skills as well. So definitely challenging.
Where if I talk about the IELTS, so again, as we all are a non-native speakers, so it's gonna be a bit challenging for us, and definitely a most challenging exam, though who are not having a very good command on their English language skills. So make sure before appearing for the IELTS, or before thinking that okay, I have to give or I have to take my IELTS exam, you need to prepare yourself with your English language skills as well, because here there are 2 modules called writing and speaking. These are the module where examiner is going to see that how good you are with your coherence, with your fluency, and of course the accuracy of your grammar and vocabulary. So
in a way, they both are challenging,
Bit,
right?
they both are
Okay, so
challenging.
in short, it won't be wrong if I say that SAT and IELTS, they both are the challenging tests, but the difficulty levels, it's of course subjective.
Yes.
Again, because it depends on students, individual test takers, how they have prepared and what kind of skills they have.
no matter you are taking the IELTS or you are taking the SAT, make sure that you are having a good amount of time to prepare both these examinations, because without preparation you may find these tests quite difficult, and for that we are here to help you out.
Exactly. So guys, keep preparing, keep practicing. All the very best.
तब तक के लिए stay tuned.